Hey guys, GameFan here, back with another Path of Exile video, and this time I'm gonna showcase my level 92 EA Ballista character, as we're gonna go over the items, the skill tree, like everything we need to know about this character. But first we gotta have a little bit of a showcase in a Screaming Invitation. Now this is gonna be doubled because we have the Height of Hubris. Oh, we have the Maven witnessing that too. Okay, that was weird. Okay, no, it should be fine. Did you see that combo? But like, as you can see, we have like pretty good damage. Ooh. Yeah, but he's done. Okay, that was kind of a disappointing reward, honestly. The main idea of the build is that we have Explosive Arrow, which is naturally a bow skill. That's why we have a bow equipped. And we're gonna link it to Ballista Totems, which is gonna put out these totems, and they are gonna be the ones who are shooting the explosive arrows that's gonna stack on a target. And once the first arrow detonates, all of them gonna explode, dealing massive damage. And the explosive damage isn't the one that we are interested in, it's the ignite that it causes, because it's gonna cause ignite damage based on the explosion. And since there are scale fire damage over time multipliers onto this skill as much as possible, the ignite is gonna take care of everything. And the way we do this is, as I said, we have explosive arrow linked to Ballista Totem. We have an awakened burning damage, since we are going to be dealing damage from burns. We have a life tap, since it costs a lot to deploy all of these totems at once, and I feel like it's easier to get like life regen than it's to get mana regen, and it's a nice damage bonus. We have an empower 4 because skill levels and explosive arrow matter a lot, and that's why we're using an empower. And we have a deadly ailments, so it's just more damage over time. And the bow itself is increased elemental damage with attack skills, because it's an attack skill. We're not scaling this skill's damage like it's a spell. Like, there is no spell damage scaling in this. We're strictly doing it with attack and fire related stuff. And yeah, like elemental damage with attack skills matters. That's like a big damage increase. And then we have a +1/+2. It's actually not that difficult to craft. Like, I don't know if I can actually show you how to craft it. Like, it's here. Like, the basic idea is you take one of these essences, like a deafening essence of dread, you get a +2, and then you just spam these until you have an open suffix and an open prefix. If you have an open suffix, what you're gonna do is go to your crafting menu, put cannot roll attack modifiers, and then the only thing that's going to be able to roll on your item, like on your bow, is a +1 level of socketed skill gems, like level of socketed gems, and then you're just gonna slam it. In this league, using an exalt on an item costs around 13 chaos, so it's gonna be really easy to get that +3 bow that we have here. Then you're going to look into stats like attack speed, accuracy rating, damage over time multi, fire damage over time multi, increased elemental damage with attack skills, and just flat lightning or cold damage. Make sure that if you have elemental damage on your bow, it's not fire, because it's gonna mess up your elemental equilibrium, which we'll talk about later. Like, try to avoid fire damage as much as possible. I sadly have 1 or 2 here, but I haven't seen that that affecting us. Like, it's mostly just the cold damage we have from cold and lightning we have from other sources, so it's not that big of a deal. A chest piece, we have a high Reese Ire because we are kind of speccing into spell suppression. We have 86 spell suppression at the moment. I think 100 is a max, so we are kind of close to getting maxed out. Here we just have like a frenzy with calling strike, GMP, and life gain on hits, like just to kill off bosses and get frenzy charges. And also the added cold damage with bow attacks actually helps a lot, because since we have this, like any damage can ignite. So like any damage that we get besides fire is basically good. Okay, for Helm I just have something like life regen, dual res, and then for implicits I'm using mana reservation, but it doesn't matter that much. Like, you could swap it out to something else, and then flammability curse effect on the implicit and the enchant, because we're using a flammability on hit curse, and I just thought that it would be nice. Like what I've seen a lot of people use, which I think I will be swapping over to, is explosive arrow attack speed. There is a 15% increased attack speed for explosive arrow helmet enchant, and I feel like that would be better DPS, since the way you scale your damage is the more the more arrows on the target before explosion, the more damage the explosion and the ignite will deal. And you can see, if you like pull up PoB, you can see the damage significantly going up if you just add like 1 or 2 fuses. So that's why having as much attack speed as possible matters. That's why we are using a bow base, which has a 1.5 attack speed, which is either a short bow or a thicket bow. And that's why we also want to have as much attack speed as possible. That's why I have it on a glove craft too. Ideally what you want is a broad-headed arrow quiver, since that has the attack speed implicit and an attack speed explicit craft, or like just any mod. And then you want basically life, damage over time, multi, any attack damage besides fire, elemental damage with attack skills, more damage with bow attacks, and basically that. For one of the rings I'm having just a regular like flammability on hit. Besides that, it has like life, accuracy rating, and just res basically. Also, having higher attack rating matters for this build, since, as I said, it's not a spell based build. It's an attack, so we need to have as much hit rate as possible. Currently, I have 96 and 87 against evasive monsters. That's why we are using a precision aura as well to help compensate that a little bit. For the other ring, I'm using a Polaric Devastation. Since we have it on the left slot, we have cover enemies in Ash for 5 seconds when you ignite them. We're always going to ignite, and that just means they take 20% increased damage, and they have a little bit less movement speed, which is nice, so it's easier to dodge them. For the gloves, we have, as I said, just life resist, attack speed, and some lightning damage. That could be higher, but that doesn't really matter, because since we can't really add a lot of lightning damage from our gloves. But the implicits are important here. We have inflict fire exposure. That maybe not even necessary. I just had that while I wasn't using elemental equilibrium, but I feel like it's kind of pointless now. But the other one is really important. That ignites, you inflict spread to other enemies within a radius of 12. Since your early setups are going to involve like replacing one of the red gems with an ignite proliferation, if you just have that implicit on your gloves, you can basically replace that ignite proliferation with a higher damage gem, and that's basically giving you more damage by having this implicit. For the belt, we have a Diadian Dawn, which is gonna cause our ignites to deal damage 35% faster, and if you have it 20% catalysted with attack catalyst, that's gonna scale up to 42%. That means the same ignite damage you had deals damage in a much shorter duration, meaning that you have a much higher DPS. That's kind of the idea. We have with our boots is with the implicit is ignites, you inflict deal damage 5% faster, and then it's just life, resist, movement speed, stats if you need any of them. So yeah, that's basically it. For the sockets, here we have cast on damage take and molten shell, not really interesting. I have vitality, so I can more easily sustain spawning all of these totems and just having more life regen in general. If we just have like a dash with second wind, it's just a great mobility skill. And we have enduring cry since I'm gonna need it, and I have a precision. A regular precision is way more than enough. Like I just have this divergent because I found it in a heist and I leveled it. It's like 60 chaos if you want to go with the divergent, so it's not that much. It's a little bit of extra damage. So for the skill tree, we're starting off from the top since we're an elementalist, and this is the first part of the tree that you're gonna get, especially with the like totem nodes, having ancestral bond, having the fire dot multi stuff, having life, having the aura effects and aura reservation, having just in general dot multi with the skill effect duration. Here we take, I took the max life reduced life recovery because it's just a nice bonus. Here I take the 20 dot multi, but like minus 35. Here I have a damage over time multi, max life, and damaging element deal damage 4% faster jewel. Here we take this elemental mastery, here we take this life wheel, this totem wheel, We take Mage Beans, so for each 15 point of dexterity, we gain 1% spell suppression, and we have this tiny spell suppression node here. I have a CB jewel with dot multi and life percent. We take this bow cluster with these two, so we can have phasing on kill. We take elemental equilibrium, and as long as we don't have any fire damage on two attacks on any of our gear, apparently this 1 or 2% sometimes doesn't even matter, but ideally you don't want to have any, like just avoid fire damage on hit as much as possible. And if you have either cold or lightning, you're gonna apply a minus 25 fire exposure to the enemy, which gets buffed up by this part of the ascendancy. So basically just by having either cold or lightning damage to attacks, you apply minus 50 rest to the target, which is extremely powerful. And here we just take some life. We take the spell suppression movement speed and the damage aura stuff. Here's some life, here's some more max totems. We take some more life. Damage over time effect with bows. We just take another jewel socket for the double dot multi life. Here we take some more life, and then here we get this big totem cluster, since we get a lot of utility from this stuff. It actually makes our totems like survive attacks. Our anointment is Arsonist. I just have Arsonist because I like the life regen from it, and it's 10 dot more. But if you're getting to an end game setup, you're going to ditch this part of the tree basically and get a cluster jewel setup with a fire damage large cluster, and then get 2 totem medium clusters, and then you can get like 2 extra jewels with life double dot multi. And then you're going to anoint this watchtower, so you can have your 6 totems up all the time. Things you want to avoid when rolling your maps is mostly just cannot regen life or having less life. I think I've said everything that I wanted about this build. It's just absolutely fantastic. The only thing I need to do now is just get a little bit more spell suppression, get a little bit more life, maybe get a +2 amulet with the dot multi, but that's gonna be very expensive, and I haven't even seen a good one which is under like 15 to 30 divines. So we're gonna have to either find a good one or just make one ourselves. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to say. Until the next video, guys. Bye.